situation like the 4/60s commentators have to deal with. Good. That's 62 to 2. Very embarrassing. That's very embarrassing. So, but, yeah, I just get my
Well, good morning, everybody, wherever you're watching from in the world. Hopefully, there are plenty of people who've stayed up a little bit. What would be the time now in New Zealand? What, 11:15? It's 11:45 here at High Wycombe, which is roughly speaking halfway between London and Oxford. We're at High Wycombe Cricket Club, which has been a venue previously for seniors cricket, the World Cup 2 years ago. And the news here is that in this third of the 3-match series, England have won the toss and will bat. And here joining me is the England skipper, John Evans. John, you must be exhausted after Sunday, but it's better today because we've got lots of cloud cover and it rained during the night.
Yeah, you can't actually tell it's rained. I'm sure it has, but yeah, a little bit cooler, so that'll be nice. And yeah, I managed to win the toss as well, so we're gonna have a bat.
So what was the thinking there behind choosing to bat?
Well, just because we batted first in the first game, batted second in the second game, and I just think that you perhaps control the game a little bit more if you bat first and post the total.
1 or 2 changes in the England side, but you like to rotate.
Yeah, we do. I think it's really important. We've always done it. We try and give everybody a fair go. I said to Roger that perhaps one of the advantages we've got is such strength in depth. For example, at Foster, we went from quite a lot for 1 to not so many more for 6. But then I remember 7 and 9 came in and got a good score and got us to 300, and that's the advantage we've got. We've probably 9, 10, and 11 us to bat quite high up for their counties, so it's just a joy to have a side like that.
Well, as the captain of the England side, you must be thrilled at the way seniors cricket has taken off in this country in the last 10 or 15 years.
It's unbelievable. When I started for Gloucestershire, we had 1 over 50 side. There are 4 now. 4 over 60s, or in fact might be 5. Sometimes there's an extra team player friendly, and there are 2 over 70s teams. So that's just incredible. I am umpiring on Saturday, so not all of us have stopped the move into officialdom, because without umpires we don't get a game. And one of the problems with people keeping playing is that leagues are struggling to get umpires. So it's a two-edged sword, I guess.
Well, 2 years ago was my introduction to seniors cricket, the World Cup here, which England won. I would have thought that in itself has been a big inspiration for players, not just in this country, but around the world, seeing a game like that headlined and put up in lights.
Yeah, definitely. And there were more in the World Cup for over 70s down under. That'll only grow. It won't. I don't think it'll affect me, but the next one I think will be in South Africa, and I'm sure there are going to be more countries there. I think there's probably 12 countries in Canada at the moment competing in the over 60s World Cup. So yeah, it's definitely a growth sport.
Well, 2 years ago, I did hear a whisper that an over 80s World Cup was not an impossibility. I mean, what do you think? We saw some over 80s playing wonderfully, some very guileful spin bowling, I remember 2 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure the guileful spin bowling will be there. I'm not sure about the quality of the fielding at the age of 80, but while we're out in Australia, ABC main news showed New South Wales Victoria over 80s game, so it's happening. I don't know. I'm still a little way away from that. I don't know what I'll think as I get close to it. We'll see.
Well, the lesson for people of our age, John, is as long as you can still do something that you enjoy, you keep doing it.
It keeps you young. It's got every advantage, because It keeps us out here. You're playing against like-minded people. We got on great with the Kiwis. Once we get the other side of the backdoor rope, they want to beat us. We want to beat them. But you know, we share a beer after the game, and it's just a joy to be out here playing. You know, I was talking to Bevan Guthrie, the Kiwi all-rounder, and I think he's 76, and he just said it doesn't matter about the fact that we're out here means that we're winning because we're still playing the game we love.
Yeah. Well, thinking back to my days when I did play serious cricket, you thought that there was camaraderie between teams, and there's sort really, but here it's so obvious. Well, look, I won't keep you because the teams are gathering outside the pavilion for a word or two and the national anthems. John Evans, best of luck today. The pavilion, very fine looking thing, maybe just post-war, and there emblazoned under the clock is High Wycombe Cricket Club. Tell you a little bit about High Wycombe as we proceed through the course of the game. But as we see here, the two teams lining up for the national anthems. Our two comers there. There you are, the two national anthems. I'll see if I can grab a word with Roger Stacharski, the New Zealand skipper. Well, Roger, so 2-0 down, but lots to play for today, yes?
Absolutely. We've come here for a win. We've come here to top our tour off with a victory. It's not been done before at this level with New Zealand and England, and we're here to make history. Too right, we're here to win.
Well, lots to encourage you on Sunday as well.
Yes, yeah, there was. There were some good parts to our game, but we need to be just that little bit more consistent. I thought we were pretty good in the field, but at times possibly a wee bit slow on the batting side of it, and possibly a wee bit loose on the bowling side of it. So definitely room for improvement.
So if you'd won the toss, what would you have done?
I probably would have had a bat again, but I haven't been particularly successful at winning tosses. So to win last time was a bonus, but we're back to normal today.
The intriguing change is that we had a meteorological event overnight, which has changed the feel of things.
Well, yeah, it could be a little bit different with it. With the cloud cover, we're hoping that our opening bowlers might get a little bit of assistance, a little bit of swing, possibly, and we'll certainly look to make the most of that.
Roger, all the very, very best today to you and your team. Thanks ever so much. Thank you. Yes, extraordinary. In the middle of the night, I woke up at about 3 o'clock and I thought I was listening to wind outside my bedroom window. Then I realized it was torrential rain. Only for 5 minutes, but it repeated itself a couple of hours later. And of course, that's of deep significance to those of you who are listening round the UK. To fill you in, if you're listening from the other side of the world, this has been a very, very hot and dry summer in the UK. The driest since the famous summer of 1976. And different parts of the country have had different conditions, but down here in the south, we've had so little rain. And as you can see from the picture on your screen, the outfield here is very, very much reflecting that. It's not in too bad a condition. It's quite flat, but it looks very, very desert-like. So the bell has gone. So we have play starting in around about 5 minutes. To remind anybody that's just joined us, England won the toss and are batting. I'll give you the teams in just a moment. So let me give you the New Zealand side first. It's in fact the same as for the second game in the series at Farnham Royal on Sunday. We have Paul Fakuri, Tony Penny, Hamish Cochrane, all of whom made runs at Farnham Royal. Then we have Bevan Guthrie, Terry O'Loughlin, the skipper Roger Stacharski, John Renshaw, Chris East, John Durning, Maurice Dawson, and Frank Walsh, with Stan Woolliscroft as a sort of floater. He came on and bowled a few overs on Sunday. As you can see, New Zealand taking the field, the umpires leading the way, John Holland and Roger Garini. New Zealand wicketkeeper Tony Penny. If you were able to pick up the singing of the national anthems, you will have certainly noticed Paul Fakuri leading the singing of the New Zealand side, a one-time operatic singer whose voice is still in terrific nick, I have to say. And the England side, skipper John Evans, then it's Chris Evans, Simon Battersby, Neil Calvert, Derek Tao, Dave T, Nick Andrews, Chris Tarrant, the wicketkeeper, Rupert Staple, Stuart Nye, Terry Edwards, and Peter Hayes. So it's 45 overs a side. And if you, well, from wherever you are listening or watching, do get in touch with us. We have a dedicated email address for sending anything to me that you wish. Tell me where you're listening from, who you're supporting. Tell me something about the community in which you live. I will endeavour to send greetings to players if I possibly can, but anything would be welcome. Just to know that there are people out there listening would encourage us no end. That email address, pretty easy to remember, openthebowling@gmail.com. openthebowling@gmail.com. So we're ready to roll. Technology. Apologise to those of you that tried to tune in on Sunday and weren't able to actually broadcast until quite late in the day. And one or two problems again this morning. So the England batters out there. Dave T is facing. At the other end is Simon Battersby. And Dave T is facing Chris East. Bowling from what we might call the, what should we call it? I don't know. The Beaconsfield end. Openthebowling@gmail.com. Please do get in touch. But plenty to play for, as the skipper Roger Stacherski was telling me just before play started. Fantastic if New Zealand were to notch up a win against England. England, though, a strong batting lineup in particular. That's a long way down the order. And on Sunday, they were chasing 244 to win, and they got them comfortably in the end with just those 3 wickets down. Outfield pretty fast. Look at that. I had a bet on the field of air. The playing area, in fact, slopes down here towards the River Wye. Though whether or not one could call it a river, I'm not quite sure. It looks like a drain to me. It's only about 10 feet wide. The River Wye, W-Y-E, although that's not, apparently, the derivation of Wycombe, though some would claim that. Just the one more to Simon Battersby. England into the 20s. The end of the 4th over. Dave T on 8, Simon Battersby on 12. So as I said earlier, High Wycombe is roughly speaking halfway between the centre of London and Oxford. We come out of London onto the M40 motorway, which is very close to us here, and that will take you most of the way to Oxford, the M40 continuing up to Birmingham. Proceeds continuing. As you would expect, lots of people who work in London reside in High Wycombe. And, good few of them play their cricket at weekends here at High Wycombe Cricket Club. That's another 4. Elegant shot along the ground from Simon Battersby. It was a feature of the England innings on Sunday. The ball was stroked along the ground most of the time. I don't think we saw a 6 hit on Sunday, did we? I don't think we did. And another shot of classic elegance. From Simon Battersby. I'm told that the Chris East is bowling from the manor end. What that manor is, I have no idea. I think I possibly prefer Beaconsfield end, but you may disagree. And the other end is, prosaically, is the pavilion end, for reasons I won't bother you with. Perhaps it should be the Oxford end. .30 without loss. As I was saying, High Wycombe Cricket Club. Excellent membership. They'll play at the highest level of club cricket, and indeed have won championships fairly regularly in recent years. A host of teams. Boys and girls. It's a decent stop. Just back of square. As you'll have noticed, the New Zealand players have numbers on their shirts. And they will include Paul Thakori's 0. You see, is 0 a number? We can have a debate about that, but is 0 actually a number? It's an anti-number. And I forget why Paul Thakori has chosen to have naught on his back. Maybe it's an image of an orifice, him being an operatic tenor. I don't know. I think he might not be too amused if I asked him about that. Big edge there, Simon Battersby. Picked up on third man boundary. Morris Dawson continuing. Dave T. Elegant forward defensive shot. A lot of stylish batters in the England side. And the team's current record, second to none in seniors. Won the World Cup here in England. 4 more to Dave T. Won the World Cup 2 years ago at the Paul Getty ground in Wormsley, which is just up the road from here. Defended that title down under over the winter and also beat Australia in a 3-match ODI series. Of course, while all that was happening, there was a big outcry about England's test side and their performance in the Ashes. Stark contrast. And it might be pointed out that the senior side did prepare properly for the World Cup and for that Ashes series. They actually played some proper cricket before the competitive stuff started. Again, elegant forward defensive Dave T. See him bowling as well, I'm sure, later on. If seniors cricket is new to you, of course you won't see any lightning quick bowling, but some of it will be quicker than you might think. But the spin bowling, so often teasing, I guess I was saying earlier to John Evans, guileful, I think that's the word. "36 without loss, England, after 6. Proceeds to continue. Gentle burble of the London road alongside the ground. Used to be in the olden days when we got to London, obviously. Now it's the M40, or you catch a train from High Wycombe. We have a large station here. Very busy at commuter times. Again, that Dave T forward defensive. Plenty of time, 45 overs aside. That's a great stop. Dave T plays for Staffordshire stroke Derbyshire combined side, I think that indicates. He was a teacher for 40 years. He's now a minister in Christian Church. Times past played minor county cricket for Hertfordshire. Represented British colleges, played for England in 2 indoor World Cups. That's a great game to play during the winter, indoor cricket. And he had a good time down under last winter. His partner, Simon Battersby of Middlesex. Played most of his club cricket, league cricket for Highgate in North London. But has anything in his career been better than scoring 64 at Lord's? for his school when he was just 16. And Simon has captained Middlesex over 70s. Simon Battersby. That email address, openthebowling@gmail.com. And you can certainly send messages, any comment on the game, even if you're watching a recording. It'd be great to hear from you, your enthusiasm for seniors cricket. Maurice Dawson in again. He does that standing still for 2 or 3 seconds. Looks like Simon Battersby perhaps missed out there, but a wide called. England into the 40s.
We turn up that sheep farm. What do you think? Yeah, brilliant.
So very tight over. Excellent fielding. And the first dose of cake arrives. Yes, we have cake in the commentary box. I mean, what could be more surprising than that? We like to do it properly, don't we? I mean, look, this is Test Match Special. Talking of which, the competition on Sunday during the second game, England-New Zealand, was the 100 at Lord's, this strange competition that's like a T20 but isn't a T20. Personally, I think we can do without it. And I know where I'd much rather have been. Farnham Royal, watching these guys. Gladdens the heart to see so much enthusiasm and expertise expended on the great game of cricket. So you're wanting to know about the cake? Well, it's 2 types of Madeira cake. Madeira with and without cherries. I'm not been paid to say this, but it's from a food outlet which is often referred to using the capital letters M and S. So you can possibly work that out. Their Madeira cakes are to die for. I have not been paid to say that, I promise you. Still Chris East. Slight misfield. The outfield is pretty flat here, despite it looking like a desert. Just about everywhere in the south of England looks like a desert. Been a tough old summer. End of the over. 9 gone. England 43 without loss. And let's taste the Madeira with cherries. Yes, very buttery, like that. There's Dawson continuing on the pavilion end. Ambulance goes past outside, flashing blue lights. And a bus comes past in the opposite direction. I would have thought people don't peep into cricket grounds anymore when they pass. I think they've probably got their heads in smartphones. Again, will that run away? I think the ball's going to win again. Running down the hill. Four more to Simon Battersby. A tally of fours from him. So 10 overs gone. England 48 without loss. Chrissy's continuing. Well, that's 50 to England in the 11th over. Good start, good solid start. As I said, target on Sunday for England was 2-4-4 to win. And New Zealanders reckoned that was a little bit under par. .280, 290, and you'd fancy your chances. And still total cloud cover here at High Wycombe. From about now on, there's no rain in the forecast, but reckoned to be cloud cover most of the time. The sun's tried to peep out on a couple of times, but we've seen plenty enough of it in the last few months. Various parts of the country have hosepipe bans. So my wife and I have been using a watering can night after night after night. I'm just hoping that the couple of downpours we had early this morning will relieve me of that necessity tonight. It's not the best when you're trying to digest your supper. But there you go. Morris Dawson again. Simon Battersby on 30 of 32 balls. Taking fresh guard. Interesting. Howl or anguish from Morris Dawson there. It looked good from Simon Battersby, but no connection, apparently. Oh. Not where intended, but one more to Simon Battersby. Good running. Two more to Dave T. And with the over 12 gone, 55 without loss, and it looks a decent wicket. On Sunday at Farnham Royal, every now and again a ball kept low, or certainly when spinners were bowling, reared slightly alarming, but not very often. Here it looks pretty straightforward. Chris East continuing. Simon Battersby takes guard again. Wide called. What a great stop. That was travelling. Looked like the skipper, Roger Stachersky, stopping that one. We'll see him bowling for sure. Another elegant drive. But players out on the boundary, long on, long off. Other than that, we have mid-off and cover, short third man, deep long leg, backwards square leg, and mid-wicket. Well, it's been tight bowling last 3 or 4 overs. And in the distance, one of the famous red kites is circling. And I do mean circling. And round, riding the thermals. In the winter, they wear the thermals. And in the summer, they ride on them. That was a joke, incidentally. But, you know, fascinating bird to watch. They disappeared from, I think, practically all of the landscape in Britain. But have been reintroduced in 2 or 3 areas, this being one of them. And they've gradually been spreading outwards, which of course means that they are almost certainly displacing other birds. That's the downside. You see them certainly as far as Oxford, which is about 30 miles away. And no ball called there for height reasons, and this will be a free hit to Simon Battersby. So let's see what happens here. Free hit. Just the one right. Again, Simon Battersby choosing not to really open his shoulders and go for broke. I don't think we saw a 6 hit on Sunday. None so far today. Yes, those red kites, they just look so lovely if you see them reasonably close up. Almost never see them flapping their wings. They're always just gliding and using those thermals to rise. They are not supposed to attack live animals on the ground, but every now and again you hear a tale that perhaps they do. They basically scavenge. And they'll eat, in my experience, practically anything. And that was just a gentle nudge down to long leg from Simon Battersby for 4. Not a 4 for a little while. Yes, they eat ham sandwiches and cake and bacon. And you need to watch out if you're having your lunch sitting out in the open watching cricket, because they will swoop down like seagulls do and actually grab people's food. They sort of hover above and then dive down really quickly. So 1 ball to go in this over. 7th ball by Maurice Dawson. .67 without loss. Simon Battersby 39. Dave T 23. No change of bowling so far. Chris East is indeed continuing. I guess that's one consideration if you are of advancing years. I say with feeling, but you may not want to come back for a second bowl. Having bowled a fair stint. It's the bones. As I know only too well. Simon Battersby to face. Great stop. Another double-decker. Bus passes the ground. Slows down for the roundabout. Now, was that actually a chance? Roger Stachersky is standing there with hands on hips as if maybe it was very low down, but it went scooting past him at a great rate of knots. 4 runs. Boundary shorter at the top end. And down here, but there again the boundary down here towards the river is that much longer. So that's fair enough. That 4 takes Simon Battersby on to 43 of 46 deliveries. And we're seeing some excellent ground fielding. By the look of things, this surface is not so dreadful for fielders. Not as bad as it looks with all the scorched grass. Again, good stop. Oh goodness, I think that might have been Hamish Cochrane. I think I've used the word live. Openthebowling@gmail.com. Please do get in touch. Openthebowling@gmail.com, even if you're watching a recording. Be nice to hear from you. And that one does get away for 4. Dave T, who's been a little bit becalmed of late.
That went well, didn't it?
He moves on to 27.
You've come to see that, have you? I didn't know it get to the head.
End of the over, and the first drinks break every 15 overs, 76 without loss. England of 15 overs, so just a notch above 5 and over. Simon Battersby on 44, Dave T on 27. New Zealand have had a range of warm-up games. They arrived very late July, played their first game against Somerset on the 2nd of August, then against Gloucestershire on the 4th. Another game against an invitation 11 before the first of the international ODIs on the 9th of August at Froster. England winning by 84 runs, batting first there obviously. They played Wales on the 11th of August, then Hertfordshire on the 13th, and then things rounded off. Farnham Royal on Sunday, as I've been saying. Now this, the last game of the tour. I imagine a good few of the players will be heading off tomorrow or the day after that, but maybe they'll be staying to do some sightseeing as well. And right on cue, we see a plane pretty well above us, which is obviously just taken off from Heathrow, from High Wycombe. Probably less than half an hour if the M40 and M25 aren't too busy, and you'll be at Heathrow. So we're obviously not on the main flight path today. We're not far from Windsor Castle, Eton College. It's not so very far away. And Oxford, you can be in the centre of Oxford in well under an hour, though you probably wouldn't want to be there this time of year. It's teeming with tourists, who are, of course, welcome. But it gets a bit crowded. So the end of the first drinks break, 76 without loss. We have Simon Battersby to face. And Roger Stacherski carefully positioning his field, but Maurice Dawson continuing. I don't know if you can see on your screen, he wears a cap to bowl. I wonder just how many Test cricketers, international cricketers, have bowled wearing a cap over the years. In the modern era, Geoffrey Boycott famously did. Although I think he turned his cap round so the peak was over his neck. Perhaps somebody will email openthebowling@gmail.com and tell me. At Farnham Royal, we had stumps that lit up. I'm not sure that's the case today. It's Maurice Dawson's 8th over. Well, Simon Battersby certainly looks like he plays regularly still across an England summer. Looked in good nick on Sunday. Likewise today. I have to say, though, I got 3 batsmen out on Sunday with my commentary. At the very moment I praised them for how well they were doing, they were immediately out. Commentators curse. End of the over. 16 gone, 78 without loss. England. Trevor Thornton has whisked me a Kia Ora from Christchurch. Where I was the year before the earthquake. Absolutely loved being there, Trevor. I do hope the recovery, the continuing recovery, is going well. Is the cathedral open again? You might be able to tell me, Trevor. I remember spending a good hour wandering around the cathedral, and I know it suffered grievously. But Trevor very kindly has sent me a photograph of his desktop on which is seen the cricket. Midnight is approaching, but Trevor is going to stay up. Well, how late are you going to stay up, Trevor? And do you have anybody known to you who's actually playing today? Interesting to know. There's lots of questions for you, Trevor. openthebowling@gmail.com. And this is a change of bowling. From the Manor end, Frank Walsh. The Manor end, otherwise known as the Beaconsfield end. Yeah, that ran pretty true out to the boundary. And a little known fact about Beaconsfield is that the Earl of Beaconsfield, otherwise known as Benjamin Disraeli, who represented the parliamentary constituency in these parts, insisted it should be pronounced Beaconsfield, and you can see his point. But he was a bit of an eccentric. He lived at Hewenden Manor, which is about a couple of miles from High Wycombe Cricket Club. National Trust property. Not my favourite National Trust property. It's very dark in there. But the spirit of Benjamin Disraeli, one-time England Prime Minister, hovers there. Unmistakably. Yeah. Again, the ball running pretty smoothly down to the boundary, reassuring. The heart goes out to cricket groundsmen this summer. I guess that will have gone for 4. Yes, it has. I suppose the one good thing, silver lining in the cloud, is that you haven't had to worry about cutting the outfield, mowing the outfield very much. So the New Zealand white fern flag on the other side of the ground is doing a circuit. We have gazebos decked out in bunting with the New Zealand flag on. We have an England St George's flag on the fence outside the pavilion. They're very well behaved, though, supporters here today. And I don't think I can see any of them asleep, which is reassuring. It is that sort of day, though. It is very humid, but nothing like as hot as it has been. It's suggested we will have more rain this week after the couple of showers we've had today. Oh my word, we need it. Just the one to Simon. Takes him on to 47 of 59 deliveries. He's been reined in a little bit in recent overs. Seeing Maurice Dawson pause at the end of his run-up and sort of ponder the next ball, it makes me think it's where I went wrong when I was a demon fast bowler. You just turned and then thundered in again far too quickly. He's thinking out, what am I going to do this time? What am I going to do this time? And that, another 4 to Dave T. He's just starting to catch Simon Battersby up. That takes him on to 37 of 48 balls. And the score on to 89. End of the over pretty well. Still 5 and over, 89 without loss after 18. Arithmetic, never really my strong point, but I think that's what that amounts to. Dave T and Simon Batterby have a conversation. They'll be wanting to push things along now, I would imagine. 27 overs to go, plenty of time, but I'm sure they'll be looking for 280, 290, something like that. And plenty of batting to come. Frank Walsh continuing. And that's 50 to Simon Battersby. Of 60 balls, 51. And that's one shot from him we haven't seen much of, if at all, today. A lot of elegant drives. And is beaten. Green double-decker bus passes. With the word flight on the side. So quite what that means, I'm not sure. Now what happened there? That's actually runs. 4 more to Simon Battersby. Simon Battersby looking for instructions from the pavilion. I wonder what that was. Ordering lunch, perhaps. Blame him. Fairly late lunch, it will be. Perhaps you just call it an interval. That will happen around about 3 o'clock UK time. And again round the corner there. And again it's 4. 4 more, and that is, I do believe, the England 100. And the partnership, of course, between these two, Battersby and T. As they say, it sounds like a firm of solicitors. I mean, I would use Battersby and T as a solicitor, wouldn't you? Going by the name. Still 1 ball of Frank Walsh's over to go. It's been a good over for England. Simon Battersby on to 60 already. And 1 by signal, so one ball still to come. Good start from England. The red kite hovering over the cricket. So slightly worrying. 1 more to Simon Battersby. Absolutely over the pitch now. I hope there's no cake. I hope there's no cake in sight, otherwise it's a goner. I was at a hotel in Cornwall about 6 weeks ago. My wife and I minding our own business, having lunch. And table about 3 away from us, a seagull came down and went off with a complete battered fish. just like that. And the waiter at our table said they'd had another instance where a seagull had come down and literally gone off with a toast rack, with toast in it, actually taking the toast rack. You think I'm joking? No, that was the story. So this looks like Roger Stacherski to bowl from the pavilion end. New Zealand skipper. Played his club cricket for Taranaki. Played loads of seniors cricket. Career in business, though retired now. And he certainly bowled impressively on Sunday. Very much still looking alive and athletic. It's from central districts in New Zealand. A red double-decker bus passes through. You're going to get bored of me saying that. I will shut up now. But they come past pretty regularly. Often complaints about the shrivelling up of bus services in this part of the world as elsewhere. But we certainly have lots of buses in High Wycombe, I can tell you. Looks like that ball deviated. Spin on it. Battle up on the field on cover boundary there. 4 more to Dave T. And another plane ascends to the heights from Heathrow. And I do declare, no, they can't be. They cannot be seagulls up there. They're not red kites, they're flapping their wings. I do occasionally hear seagulls around here. I don't know why. And a very slower one from Roger. It's a quite short boundary down there. End of the over. Rogers first. 130 without loss, England. Simon Battersby on 62. 62, and Dave T on 44. And 20 overs gone. 25 to come. So a recap on that game on Sunday at Farnham Royal. New Zealand won the toss and batted. And Paul Fakuri and Tony Penny put on 100 for the first wicket. very solidly. But they were then pinned back. Now and again there was a surge, but only Hamish Cochrane, or Pinanoni batters, made a serious score. But still 243, not a bad effort. England went off like an express train, but were pinned back by some very mean bowling before a final acceleration winning by 7 wickets. And this is the vice-captain of New Zealand from the Manor end, or Beaconsfield end. Edwin Guthrie was the skipper of the New Zealand side for the World Cup 2 years ago. All-rounder. Replacing Frank Lewis. He's played cricket, it says here, continuously for 63 years. Played for the New Zealand 60s as well as 70s. And he's an all-round sportsman. My goodness, badminton, golf. Played top-level rugby for Otago. He's refereed at rugby. Currently umpires. He's a retired beef and sheep farmer. And it was when these two bowlers came on Sunday that things were significantly held back. Two very, very experienced cricketers. Will they come back for two? Yes, they do. End of the over, 21 gone, 117 without loss. Simon Battersby moving ever onwards, 65 off 69 balls. Dave T now 45 off 60. So there's 2 men out deep here at long on, wide long on and long on. Deep set mid off. Man on the boundary at cover. Slow ball. I think the ball, is the ball going to win that? I don't know. I think it is. There we go. Runs away down to close to our position here. Hits our sound engineer's car, but not seriously. We've also got square log on the boundary. Deep third man. And more cake arrives. It's on a conveyor belt. I know what a mother would say. You won't eat your lunch, Andrew. And 4 more. Sometimes when you just can't hear the sound of the ball on the bat, that's the sign that it's been really, really well timed. And that was the case there. Down towards the Pizza Hut. It is a Pizza Hut. I'm not advertising. It's a hut which has got pizza written on it. Down there, so they do retail inside the ground here. '73 now, Simon Battersby. Of 72 balls, 73 now, so that's parity. Sense of acceleration now, plenty of batting to come. That's a long, long run down there, but a nifty bit of footwork saved the 4. That is a very long boundary down there. So 128 without loss, England. And that's a beautifully crafted shot. Forward to Dave T, takes him on to 49. Umpires consulting, don't know what that's about. Is it about whether we have the over or not? I think the scorers think we have. And the red kite hovering right over the cricketers, coming over my direction. Very careful about that. I think it saw my cape and has veered off now, across to the right. I know what you're thinking. It would have been fun for that to happen on mic. But so 1 for Dave T's 50. Simon Battersby facing though on 76 off 74 deliveries. Devin Guthrie continuing. And that's 50 for Dave T, coming off 61 balls. And the batters shake hands. They've been a good opening pair in the sense that Dave T has been basically supportive to Simon Battersby. Without attempting to go at the same rate. So 4 more to Simon Battersby, down towards the cricket nets. Dust cart passes the ground. This is the end of High Wycombe where there are business parks, industrial parks. It's quite gritty down this part of town, if you see what I mean. No disrespect. But in contrast, behind where I'm sitting is the River Wye, which I mentioned earlier. Quicker ball. And in sharp contrast to the business parks, the industrial parks, there's a conservation area, which is lovingly tended. And basically hugs that river. Quite a long walk, and it skirts the town centre. $139 without loss, England. 82 now to Simon Battersby. Around 50 for Dave T. Stan Woolliscroft from the pavilion end. Replacing his skipper. Gives the ball air. Like a British Airways plane heading into the clouds, just disappeared into the clouds, comes out again. Apparently that last plane is indeed British Airways, yes, and it's on its way to Dallas. Texas. It is astonishing the information you can find out about planes over the internet. My neighbour across the road in my village was able to track any light aircraft passing within any sort of range. It's going to go before as well. That, I repeat, is a short boundary down there. And getting a bit brighter here. It was forecast for a little bit of sun to peep out from clouds at about this time, depending on which app you looked at. End of the over. Understand Woolliscroft's first, 146 of 24. So going at over 6 and over now.